Hello viewers, welcome again to today's lesson. This is the Solution Space, the platform where mathematics is made easy and simple for everyone to understand and to enjoy. In this video, I want to continue with the vectors that I started with you in the previous videos. In the previous videos, we started learning about vectors and we've already treated some subtopics on the vectors. And the last thing that we handled on the vectors is the resultant of vectors, which we've done a detailed explanation on it, and also we've solved some examples on it as well. And I hope you understood it and you enjoyed the lesson as well. So in this video, I want us to continue and handle another aspect of the vectors, and that is equality of vectors. As you can see from the board, I've written equality of vectors on the board. So that's what I want to teach you in this video, and I will encourage you to do well to watch the previous videos, because the previous videos lays the foundation. Okay, so do well to watch all the previous videos that I've done on the vectors so that you can get a good foundation and understanding to be able to handle this session as well. And please don't forget to like the videos and also share them after watching. And if you are watching for the first time, please do well to follow the page and also subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now you can see that I have an example on the board that I want to solve with you, but before I go ahead and solve the example that I have on the board with you, I'm going to do a brief explanation on equality of vectors, okay, so that when you gain the understanding, we can proceed and solve the example that I have on the board together. Okay, so now when we talk about equality of vectors, in simple terms, two vectors are said to be equal if their corresponding components are the same. Okay, I'm going to repeat it one more time. In simple terms, when two vectors are said to be equal, it means that their corresponding components are the same. Okay, and that is it about equality of vectors. Very simple. And I'm going to use some illustrations to explain it further to you, okay, before we proceed and solve the example that I have on the board. Okay, so let's go to the board and let me explain further to you. So now, assuming that I have two vectors, okay, so let's say that I have the vector A equals to s1, y1, and the vector B equals to, let's say, s2, y2. Okay, now when we say that these two vectors are equal, it means that their corresponding components are the same. Okay, so for that reason, we can write it in mathematical form. Okay, so writing it as the vector A equals to the vector B. Okay, it means that we have the vector A equals to vector B. Okay, and what that means is that for the two vectors to be equal, the corresponding components are also the same, are also equal. Okay, so now from here I have the value of the vector A, which is s1, y1. So in place of the A, I can write the s1, y1 there. Okay, so let me write my s1, y1 down equals to, then I have my vector B, okay, is given to be s2, y2. So in place of the B, I'll write my s2, y2. Okay, don't forget, I said that two vectors are said to be equal if their corresponding components are the same. So it means that I can say that s1 equals to s2. Okay, we can equate the corresponding components. Okay, and also I can say that y1 equals to y2. Okay, and that's the meaning of equality of vectors. We can equate corresponding components when two vectors are said to be equal. Okay, so now let me go ahead. So it means that when I take my S1, I can equate it to S2. Okay, so S1 equals to S2, and when I take my Y1 also, I can equate it to Y2. So my Y1 is also equal to Y2. Okay, so that's the explanation on equality of vectors. We can equate corresponding components. Okay, so we equate the values at the top and we equate the values at the down. Okay, I hope the explanation is clear enough up to this point. So with this understanding, we can go ahead and solve the example that I have on the board. Okay, so let me clean this from here so that we can have enough space to solve the example 1 that I have on the board. So example 1, it says that if vector P equals to A plus 3, B minus 1, and vector Q equals to minus 2, 3, find A and B if P equals to Q. Okay, so we have to find the values of A and B if P equals to Q. Okay, so this is a question on the equality of vectors that I just explained to you. Okay, so now let me write down my solution and let's do it together. Okay, so now there is a condition given for us to find the values of A and B. It says that if P equals to Q, so we are going to use that. Okay, so it says that if P equals to Q, okay, so I'm going to write down that my P equals to Q. That's what the question says. So now I'm going to input the values of the vector P and Q that have been given into this equation. Okay, then we can equate the corresponding components, because I've explained to you that when two vectors are said to be equal, it means that we can equate their corresponding components. In other words, it means their corresponding components are the same. That's why we can equate them. Okay, so now I have the vector P. It's given to be A plus 3, B minus 1. So in place of the P, I'll put my A plus 3, B minus 1. Then I'll bring my equal sign. The vector Q is given. The vector Q is given to be minus 2, 3. So in place of the Q, I'll write my minus 2, 3 down. I hope you understand and you agree with me up to this point. So from here, we just need to equate the corresponding component. Okay, so when I take the A plus 3, I will equate it to the minus 2 and solve for A. And when I take the B minus 1, I'll equate it to 3 and solve for B as well. Okay, so let's do exactly that. So I'll have my A plus 3 equals to minus 2, and this becomes a simple linear equation to solve for A. I've taught you linear equation, okay, from the scratch. We've treated linear equation as a full topics. Okay, we've done all aspects of it. So if you don't have any knowledge on linear equation, just search for my videos that I've done on linear equation and watch them to gain the understanding. Okay, it's available on both Facebook and YouTube. Okay, so let's go ahead and solve this one. So I'll let the positive 3 cross to come and join the negative 2 here, but take note that when anything crosses the equal sign, the sign it has changes to the opposite. Okay, so it's positive. When it crosses the equal sign, it becomes negative. So I have my A will be equal to minus 2 minus 3. So my A will be equals to minus 5. Okay, so this is the value of A. A equals to minus 5. Now let's go ahead and find for the value of B as well. Okay, so again, I'm going to do B minus 1 equals to 3. You equate corresponding components. So I'll have that my B minus 1 equals to 3. Again, this is a simple linear equation to solve for B. So my B will be equals to 3 plus 1. Okay, so I have my B will be equals to 4. and that is the value of b as well. Okay, so therefore I have my a equals to -5 and my b equals to 4. This is the final answer. Okay, so I hope the explanation was clear enough and you understood it as well. So this is how to handle questions on equality of vectors. Okay, please don't forget to like the video and also share them after watching. And if you are watching for the first time, please do well to follow the page and also subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. I'll see you again in another video whilst we solve more examples on this. Bye bye.